Oh, hi, Virgo. Hey. This is Into the Infinite. I'm Charlie, and most importantly, I'm really grateful that you're joining me here. So, we are doing a new timeless spread, which I'm kind of excited about. Um, can you tell it's Aries season? I love it so much. I wanted to do this to offer some timeless guidance. Sorry, my hoodie's doing something very weird here, so it may, whatever. I'll lean, it's just leaning into it. um, but I wanted to do this to offer some timeless guidance and some channeled information that wasn't confined to astrological events or anything like that. So, this is your burning question spread. So, we're going to address different questions. Each sign gets their own take on it. So, Virgo, you are up. So, the question that we're asking is, where is my creative inspiration hiding? Not in necessarily a way of, it's outside of you, but what blocks are we looking at removing? What blocks are we looking at that when we take them away really open us up, right? How can we crack wide open to whatever it is that we are needing inspiration about or for or from, be it just connected to life itself, divine guidance, love, romance, like all that juicy stuff, creative projects, work, right? So I'm going to start so I would like to invite the angels, my spirit guides, my guardian angels, protectors, teachers, and their healing energy to this space. And I ask that it is a safe space that allows for the fullest expression of our light, humanity, ascension, and healing. All right, Virgo, let's do this, shall we? So this is the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle deck by Kelly Sullivan Walden, which I love. It's so good. The art in it is amazing. All right, Spirit. Time for a quantum leap, Virgo. Time for a quantum leap. Prepare for a makeover. Yeah. You're getting spiritually made over, Virgo. Let's see what we got here. Divine discernment. Step back to find clarity. That reminds me of, I think it was the Leo reading that I did. But I almost feel like these are deeply connected. Like the clarity that you're getting, like these are different parts of you, like the motions of it and everything. It's just like there's this way that you're kind of cutting through. You're cutting through any kind of chaos around you, and it's really leading you to this beautifully connected place. Like it's helping you to be clear, and that's what the makeover is. Like the clarity is what's allowing or facilitating this makeover. I'm also getting that there's like a lot of guides around you right now that you need to be reminded of, or at the very least aware of. I'm clarifying with the traditional Rider-Waite tarot here. Spirit, can I get some guidance from my wonderful Virgo, Team Virgo? In this spread, my creative collective Virgo. The Magician. I mean, yeah, that's like when things get clear, this is like the cosmic makeover, right? This really is. It's a quantum leap kind of makeover. Can I get just a little bit more guidance here, Spirit? I'm almost getting that, like, your creative inspiration, like, you almost feel like you're not good enough, and it's kind of blocking manifestation. Like, you feel like you're not good enough. So it's almost like this is showing up in reverse because I feel like you're moving away from thoughts that you might be worth it. The reason why is that this part is clarified by the King of Cups and the Nine of Cups. So it's almost like this is like this, like these two are showing up in reverse, like this is what's possible, but the way that you're kind of clinging to some thoughts about worth, and that's where the discernment is coming from. Like stepping back is helping you to be very clear, not just about what you want, but what you need and expect, so that when you communicate it to others, because I was thinking Mercury in the sixth house and communication, right? Like how you communicate these things to other people gets clearer too. And when that happens, it's almost like this cascade effect. Like you are not just worth, you know, it's not just broad self-worth. It then becomes about like you're opened up to these different ways that you can manifest. Yeah, it's like it's forward movement that feels really good to you. Um, but I think first you have to use that divine discernment. And that's like the makeover of sorts that you're going through, is really understanding. You're understanding how all of that energy moves, Virgo. And it's like in the details, right? It's in the details. And it's not something that you can get from other people. It's not something that's going to come from other people. This is you going within. And when you go within, that's the makeover kind of energy that I'm getting here. Like the Emperor's New Clothes. This just came to mind. Yeah, this is you, Virgo. You're showing up as like, I'm going to put that up here. Okay, fine, Spirit, yeah. I have, like, I've said in other videos that I have all these plans for how I'm going to do these, like, these decks or spreads, 555 on the time. Definite change here. Whew. Yeah, I got, like, chills down my back. But not, like spirit chills. Yeah. You're showing up here as well. Adjacent to the details of the question. So I think it's like, this to me is like you shining a light on all of this process. So I'll show you how it's showing up here. So it's like the light is, you know, making way for all of this stuff to come forward. I think the Fool. I think that you really have to trust. You have to trust in the clarity that you're gaining, because your first impulse may have been not to trust it. Okay, I'm putting those out because that's holy crap. Okay, what? Okay. Okay, so the sun came out. Spirit's got a lot to say to you, Virgo, about this makeover. So the sun came out, right? Leo, 5th house energy, the Fool, Uranian energy, Ace of Cups, 10 of Cups. So like, it could be that like you've been resisting love. You've been resisting the wisdom that love has been on offer, because you're in this place of manifesting, but it's kind of turned upside down, around, and backwards. Like, it's almost like you're not trusting in the capacity that you have to manifest something good. Like your instinct is to mistrust whatever shows up, So you just engage in it like half-heartedly. Like King of Cups in reverse is like half-heartedly. Yeah, like your divine counterpart could show up, but you're like this. So like, are you really gonna care? You do care. Like you want the 9 of Cups, and you do show up to an extent. But fully, it's not showing up here like that. And that's okay. We go through those phases. All of us do. I've been through stuff like that. Other people that I know have. It's not a downside, Virgo. The only downside would be if this Hermit was in reverse and it turned all of these other beautiful cards about love and relationships in reverse too, right? We have the Sun card, the Fool, Ace of Cups, and 10 of Cups. But those aren't showing up in reverse. It could also be you being very clear that this is what you want. Like, it's almost like another storyline that I just got was that the Hermit here is like shining the light so that you remember that this is what you actually wanted, but you've made it inaccessible to yourself, right? The Sun, the Fool, the Ace of Cups, and the 10 of Cups. You've made it inaccessible to yourself. Shit, Virgo. I mean, and that's probably the divine discernment part here, right? And this is like, you're going to leap fast when you make this. Like, this is where the quantum leap is coming from, because I think that this is really all that's been standing between you and having what you want, is like, you're always on the run. And that can be a response that we have to, things that have hurt us. Yeah, things that have hurt us. And I'm getting this here. So it could be that that's where, like, I'm getting like player energy off of this. Like, this is definitely like Knight of Wands and Ace of Wands is like, I mean, it's fun, but is it long lasting? No. And I'm getting the impression that you are in this place of a reversed King of Cups. Like you're just not trusting, Virgo. And I want to find out. I'm like, oh, why is Virgo not trusting? What's happening here? So I'm going to be a bit nosy. So Spirit, and not nosy as in like, I want to be up in your business so I can spill your tea. No. Spirit, can you give me some messages for Virgo to help guide them through this? Yeah, just to help guide them through and to really uncover this like creative inspiration, right? And the beautiful part of this too, Virgo, is that we think of creative inspiration in terms of work, right? And it can come across that way. It can definitely come across that way. But the other side of it is like you need to have that rest period, right? There has to be that rest period where you're giving yourself a minute, like a hot minute with those, you're giving yourself a minute, because there's ways that I think you've been, it's just this moving away energy. Like I'm getting this like really heavy heart. Like you invest halfway in things because that's what you've needed to do to survive. Like this to me is a very survival mentality card. Like it's not one that allows you to really like carry things with you. Like this is leaving somewhere not by choice with just the clothes on your back. And I think when you get used to a way of life like that, Empress in reverse. Like when you get used to a way of life like that, it's hard to recognize what you value. Empress in reverse. It's hard to recognize what's most important because you're just always moving away. So I think that this is maybe a call to like find the strength within you, number one, and remember who you are, right? Take the quantum leap, but step back a minute to find the clarity to really see this pattern, to really see it. Spirit, can I get just a little bit more clarification from my Virgo here, please? And thank you so much. Yeah, Eight of Swords, not surprised. That's what you need to release. You really need to let go of, I feel like the Eight of Swords is like a need to control, in a way, because like you can free yourself. These are not tightly bound, right? Like these are not necessarily tightly bound. And it's almost like you've created this circle of beliefs around yourself that prevent anybody from getting in. And that can really help you. And again, like I say this with so much compassion because it comes from a place of pain and hurt, right? Like it's not something that's just like, oh, this just happened. Like it's fine. No, it's not fine. Let it not be fine so that you can process it and move through it, right? Like even if it means that you have like ugly cries a couple days for a week, let yourself feel stuff, Virgo. Let yourself feel it so that you can release it and it can keep flowing, right? Because there's so much happiness that's right on your doorstep. But I feel like you don't want to let it in. You don't want to let it in. And this could be Virgo's energy, or Virgo, this could be someone that you're dealing with too, right? It can go both ways. Someone that you're dealing with. I don't know. It could be. Oh, my ear is ringing. That's really loud. Okay, Spirit. I got it. Time to move on. Okay. Yeah. I think that you're realizing it. I'm going to put this here with this. Yeah, and Judgment. That's like Pluto. That's twice Pluto energy, okay? Judgment is Pluto and Tower is Pluto. Like Tower is Pluto in a way. Tower is more Mars energy, but I see it as Pluto regarding the way it is transformative. Like it comes crashing forward, which is Mars energy, but the Pluto aspect is the transformative aspect of it to me. And I'm seeing that like you're becoming aware, albeit reluctantly, which is okay. All that Spirit needs is just a tiny investment from you to work magic, right? Just a tiny investment, because that's what it turns into as Queen of Pentacles. It turns into a whole lot more. But you've got to trust first. You have to trust first. Spirit, can I get just one more message here before I clarify with the other deck? So this is the guidance, is like it's okay to commit to yourself and to the path that you want. And it's also okay to let go of the baggage that you carry, and that there is this kind of divine counterpart energy that's balanced. You're really giving up on conflict here. It is time. Yeah, you're very clear on it now. Or you become clear on it. And I think it just happens like this. Like you're like, oh, well, shoot. Okay. Like, I think it's kind of one of those things. Like you're like, oh, all right. But I think that this is great because then it puts you back in the driver's seat, right? It puts you back in kind of control of how balance is coming to you and whether you're giving that to yourself. But the Queen of Cups here and the King of Cups. So this, to me, the King of Cups truthfully showed up in reverse, the way I read it intuitively. So I'll show it like this so you can visually see it. But it's almost like you couldn't hear the people in your life were like, when love showed up in your life, you may not have been able to hear it because you were pushing back against it. But there's really something to be said for the way that you commit to yourself is kind of the way that you are able to commit to other people, right? One is with freedom and, a little bit more lightness. And like, there's, the Hierophant is tradition, but it's also tradition in the sense of like long-term commitment, not necessarily like marriage or anything like that. It doesn't have to mean those things. For some people, they really want it to. Others, it's negotiable. Others, not at all, right? So that kind of idea, and realistically, marriage means what we invest in it. Like it's just an idea. It's basically started as a way to transfer land from one home to another and one person, one family to another. So it's like we're redefining what that means. And I think it starts with this like confidence piece, and it starts from that sense of value and knowing what is important to you. And that can be hard, but this is like different ways of approaching situations, right? Bringing all the baggage with you and expecting to be able to hear a counterpart when they come in, or I guess have energetic access, not because you're being blocked by that, but because you can't see it. Like you have the 10 of Wands covering your face, right? You just can't see it when you're in that energy. And in this energy, it's about like, being able to actually plant seeds because your cup isn't just running over. Like your cup ran over, and that's what allowed you to water this garden, right? So I think that it is bringing in some balance. Spirit, can I just get some clarifying messages here for Virgo? Virgo, I do get the feeling that like your creative inspiration has been kind of bound up in a bit of romance for you. And this could be like the heaviness of your heart. I'm getting the heaviness of your heart has really made creativity and starting anything new really heavy as well, because you've been in this energy of like 6 of Swords, like moving away, which is really, it's tough energy to navigate and balance. I feel for you, Virgo. I really do. Like, I really, really do. 10 of Pentacles. That's on the offering. Sorry. There we go. 10 of Pentacles. Judgment. Yep. You're understanding 6 of Swords again. You are, but this is like constructive movement. So this, can I, and 10 of Swords, it is ending. Okay, so these two 6 of Swords energies, this one was you at the beginning, and this is you at the beginning of asking this like creative inspiration question. You're moving away. You're like, no. This one you're moving towards, which is beautiful energy. Is it in somewhat of the same energy? Yes, because there's still an element of this that you're healing, but you're better able to move towards what's important to you as opposed to away from what you're afraid of. And that's really the judgment piece. So we have 10 of Pentacles and judgment. So I think this energy is working together, and it's really pulling you in a direction that is healing, that's allowing you to walk away, right? Like once you reach the shore, you're like, no, I know what direction I need to move in now. And this is directional. I don't see it as moving away. I see it as standing in the light of the sunset, because you've gained enough wisdom to know that you wanted to actually stop at the horizon and just take in the light of a sunset or sunrise, right? So, Virgo, holy crap. So before I go to the other one, I realize I have done this in part with others, but I'm going to go into talking about the planets and houses now. So the Magician is Mercury energy, which is Gemini in the 2nd house. And then the Hermit is... that's your energy, of course, and that is the 6th house. And the Sun is Leo energy in the 5th house. Fool is more Uranian energy. Ace of Cups and 10 of Cups, obviously. This is also, so there's the 10 of Swords, and the Aces are part of the Tower, right? Because it's a new beginning. You're like blasting something out and welcoming something in. Same thing with Death energy. I think Death is more summarized by that. I think the Tower's a bunch of swords and cups in it. But it's almost like there's this rebirth that you're going through. The Tower energy is Mars. I see it as more Pluto because of the transformative energy. Judgment is Pluto. And then we have Judgment again. So like, this is really like, I think that there's something that you need to call judgment on. And I think it's about yourself and how you've been doing things. And just maybe a quiet understanding that you want something more. A quiet understanding that you want it to be a different way, right? I also see the Hierophant here, which is... the Hierophant is Taurian energy, and that's the 2nd house and Venus. So again, love. And then the Strength card is Leo, and that is the 5th house and Sun. So it's almost like doing these things unlocks like I'm looking at the placement of the cards. So the sun is in the top row and then the strength card is at the bottom. So like integrating the warmth of the sun and what you really want and going in the Fool energy towards it, that Ace of Cups, 10 of Cups, is unlocking this confidence for you that's allowing you to integrate all of these wonderful lessons. Judgment is again here with the Pluto and Six of Swords and 10 of Swords. So I think it's been a journey for you, number one. Number two, I just want to say that if there is something that you've been sorting through and that has taken a lot out of you, like maybe you just need someone to say, Virgo, I see the pain that you've been through and you don't have to keep running. You don't have to keep running. But don't, like the people in your life don't need to tell you that. Recognize that for yourself, my love. Then you'll be able to move on from it, integrate it, and move through it. And there are few things that are as good for your health as recognizing what's for you and what's not, right? And then you can just keep moving forward from it. So I'm just going to pull from the Miracles Now deck to add on to it. Spirit, can I get some messages for my wonderful Virgo here? I wish I could give you a hug, Virgo. I really do. For my Virgo Creative Collective, about where their inspiration has been hiding. I'm hearing unpack the things that you carried with you that you had to leave behind when you hopped on the Six of Swords, the boat, like when you hopped on that. Unpack the feelings that you have about what you had to leave behind in a flash. Whoa, Virgo. Okay. Spirit, can I please get some messages for my Creative Collective Virgo here? These are just affirmation messages to move you forward, Virgo, and to get you kind of refocused here a little bit in your energy and in your strength. I let my intimate relationships be my greatest learning devices for spiritual growth and healing. Yeah. I let my intimate relationships be my greatest learning devices for spiritual growth and healing. I tried to read it backwards, but it didn't work. So I think that this is really about remembering that relationships are not here to hurt you. And then it might be that you've just had to move past so many of them. And so it just became easier to disconnect from them, right? It just became easier to be like, no, I'm good. I'm good, actually. So, but when you really did want them, like, otherwise, why would you engage in it, right? That Knight of Wands and the Ace of Wands and the Knight of Wands, like, sex is fun and everything, but it does mean that there's an element of you that's wanting connection. Maybe you have to admit that to yourself. I don't know. Also, there's nothing wrong with consensual, like, anything. Like, if it's consensual, have fun. Like, do your thing. This is not a judgment space, right? So, you were born with that it quality. Do you want to know what's really beautiful? Confidence. Do you want to know what's really powerful? Persistence. Do you want to know what's really sexy? Please. I know about sexy. Not needing to be needed. And if still they don't notice your good looks, your strength, and your sachet, could you feel more sorry for them? Maybe this is a little bit about you trusting that you have what it takes and that there's something that someone would want to get to know in the long term, Virgo, and that there's something within you that is worth, like that there's a fifth house in you that is alive and well, and that someone would want to commit to about you. And it's just been easier to kind of take off and be like, dip, right? And this isn't to crap on Virgos. Like I have so many Virgos in my life that I adore. But this is just to say that sometimes we can get like bumps and bruises and a little dented along the way. And that can show up in how we show up, right? So it could be that you just didn't trust that you had anything of value, 10 of Pentacles, right? Anything of value to warrant long-term commitment to people because you didn't trust yourself. Oh, Virgo, this is why I just want to give you a hug. I want to give you like a hug, a coffee, a hot chocolate, a tea, something, and just say like, here, have this blanket and just sit for a minute. And then, you know, if you're really interested in moving forward, like I'll cheer you on the sidelines. Like it's that kind of energy. Oh, Virgo. This is the Notes from the Universe on Love and Connection deck by Mike Dooley, by the way. Spirit, can I get one more message for my team Virgo, please? And thank you so much. Pucker up, Buttercup. Oh, I think it's coming for you, Virgo. Pucker up, Buttercup. Being fair and reasonable will earn you respect and admiration, but being genuinely kind will make you a total love magnet. Go for love magnet. Yeah, I think that this is a call for you, Virgo, to really step into the energy of love a little bit more and understanding that you are bringing that to you. And the thing that brings it to you is worth looking at because we encounter things that we do want and don't want all the time, right? It's there constantly. But I think what's happening here is you're starting to realize that there's wisdom in there's wisdom not just in what you don't want. It's not just that. There's the deeper thing here is that things show up in your life because on some level you may want them, and it's worth exploring that part of you. So divine discernment, time for a quantum leap. Like there's, step back to find clarity, get very clear on what you want, because that's going to like be like rocket fuel for you. That's your quantum leap, Virgo. I feel like you're taking it, and I'm so excited to see your wings soar. So do leave comments if, if this resonates, or, later it resonates and you're like, oh no, that was, it, do so. I would love to know. I would love, because I feel like there's a makeover happening here internally, and it's bringing in some some amazing things for you, Virgo. So on that note, if this resonated, please feel free to like and subscribe. It helps me to grow the channel and continue to do what I love, which is spiritual guidance, bringing that to you, and using channeling skills and, well, gifts, I guess, yeah, to bring all of this stuff forward to you. I really enjoy it, and I hope that it helps. So I will see you in other places around the channel if you want to engage through dailies or monthlies, or however else you do so. But if we part here, Virgo, I hope that you have a wonderful day. Remember, you're on the come up. Clarity and quantum leaps. That's where it's at for you. Have a good one, my dear Virgos. Bye.